What is the PDPA or the Personal Data Protection Act of Sri Lanka? When does it come into effect? And what does your company have to do in order to comply with it? Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we're going to talk about something that's a hot topic among corporates in Sri Lanka these days, the Personal Data Protection Act. The first thing to know is that it was passed back in 2022 and is slated to come into effect in September 2025. So whether you're running a startup or a large enterprise, compliance isn't optional, it's the law. For example, if you're a small online store collecting customer emails or a bank handling thousands of client records, the rules apply to both equally. In this episode, we'll look at 5 of the first steps that your company needs to take in order to comply with Sri Lanka's PDPA. And stick around to the end for a bonus tip. So what exactly is the PDPA? It is an act passed in Sri Lanka to bring the country in line with the growing global demand to protect personal data. It places obligations on any party that collects personal data of individuals on how such information can be collected, stored, processed, and it imposes certain duties that such collectors may owe to the data subjects. The first step is to understand the Personal Data Protection Act. The first thing is that you must get familiarized with the law. The PDPA of Sri Lanka governs how personal data can be collected, stored, and processed. And it applies to any company that is collecting and processing personal data in Sri Lanka. The key terms you need to know include the data subject, the individual whose data is being processed, data controller, the entity that decides how and why personal data is processed, data processor, the party processing the data on behalf of the controller. For instance, if you order food from a delivery app, you're a data subject. The app company is the controller deciding why your data is collected, and the cloud service storing that data is the processor. Understanding these terms and your obligations under the law is crucial before you start making changes to your operation. The Act not only provides restrictions on what and how data can be collected, but it also provides certain rights to the data subjects. If you want to understand the terms of the PDPA a little bit better, you can check out my video on it. A pop-up for it should be appearing on the top now. Step 2. Appoint a Data Protection Officer or a DPO. The PDPA mandates that every company or group of companies that processes personal data appoint a qualified person to ensure that there is compliance with this law. Your DPO's responsibilities include monitoring data protection practices, conducting risk assessments, liaising with the Data Protection Authority when needed, among others. Step 3. Conduct a data audit and understand the gaps in your system. Before you comply with the Personal Data Protection Act, you need to understand the relationship that your company has with personal data. Among other things, you need to identify what personal data you collect, why you're collecting it, and where and how it's stored. Say you're running a gym. You might collect names, phone numbers, and even health details of your patrons. You need to know exactly where all this information is stored. Is it in paper forms, spreadsheets, or in an app? And make sure that you classify the data based on sensitivity. For example, financial data or health data may require stricter protection. This step is vital in understanding the gaps in compliance with the Act. Step 4. Implement robust data protection policies. Basically, you need to create clear guidelines on how your company handles the data that you collect. You should have clear guidelines on how personal data is collected and processed, who has access to sensitive data, and how to handle data breaches. You should train your employees to understand these policies and their role in maintaining compliance. For example, in a hospital, not every staff member should be able to view a patient's full medical history. Only the doctor or nurse directly treating them. Remember that data protection isn't just an IT issue. It's everybody's responsibility. Number 5. Secure your systems. Invest in robust cybersecurity measures such as encryption, firewalls, and regular system updates. Ensure your IT infrastructure can detect, prevent, and respond to threats effectively. Additionally, impose access controls to ensure that you can limit who can view and modify sensitive data, because the Act imposes a confidentiality requirement on the companies that collect the data. Like in a school, teachers might have access to students' grades, but only the finance office should see the parents' payment details. A strong technical foundation can ensure that you limit the risk of data breaches, which could lead to hefty fines under the PDPA. Further, you need to have systems in place which allows you to comply with the requests made by data subjects. These include asking access for their personal data, asking the company to amend the personal data, asking the company to stop processing their data, and asking the company to delete their data. Remember that these are rights given to the data subject under the Act, so you need to have processes in place which allow you to comply with these requests. So if a customer of your e-commerce store emails you asking to delete their account and data, you should be able to process that smoothly instead of scrambling to figure out where it's stored. As promised, here's your bonus tip. Be proactive. The PDPA is not a one and done checklist. Regularly review and update your policies to align with new regulations or technical advances. For example, if you're adopting a new AI tool or using a new HR software, you'll need to make sure that your data policies are updated to cover these. And you should engage with industry professionals on a regular basis to ensure that you understand what the best practices are in order to protect the personal data that you're collecting. And there you have it. 5 essential steps to comply with Sri Lanka's PDPA. By understanding the law, appointing a DPO, auditing your data, creating solid policies, and securing your systems, you will not only become compliant with the law, you will also earn the trust of your customers. It's also a good idea to consult with experts to ensure that you can comply with these steps. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you found value in it, and if you did, please do consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.